Hi, today I am joined by two very special guests. This is Pete and Renee Curran. Hi, Pete and Renee.
Hi, Liz.
Hello.
How are you?
How you going?
Thank you so much for joining me. What I wanted to talk to you today, because you have had an amazing journey through this digital journey from being completely non-digital to now owning a digital agency and generating all your income through digital means. So what I wanted to find out today was a bit more of your story and where you've come from and where you've now come to, just to inspire everyone and what's possible in this journey when you learn these skills. So give us a little bit, to start out with, give us a bit of background about where you guys started out and why you wanted to do something different. What prompted all this change?
I think the change started when we were first pregnant back in 2011, and I guess we just wanted a different lifestyle. You know, we always had, I guess, solid jobs and jobs that paid okay money, but there was probably a lack of flexibility that came with those jobs. Hence, we went looking for something different. And yeah, it was probably in about early 2011-ish, I ended up at a Matt and Liz Rard seminar at Surfers Paradise.
Yeah.
And who would have thought? Yeah.
And so what kind of attracted you? Had you tried some other things like property or shares and other things? What sort of drew you to the digital space?
Well, originally it was Pete that was interested in the digital space. So prior to 2011, Pete was a police officer and then also a qualified lawyer. We had Chelsea, our first daughter, in 2011, and decided he didn't want to do any of that. So it was like, what adventures do I want to do? But I don't want to go down that same line. So that's where Pete went in and thought, this sounds interesting. A friend actually said, I'm going along, come along. And it was the most enthusiastic I've seen him in a very long time about something. So he goes, I want to give it a go. And I'm like, great. I continued back as full-time work once Chelsea was born. So Pete stayed as a stay-at-home dad.
And what were you doing at that stage, Renee?
So I was at corporate level of the Commonwealth Bank. So in executive level that travelled basically 3 weeks out of the 4 of a month. And Pete basically ran the household and ran Chelsea, and I worked. Yeah. So we did that, and Pete joined the course doing Legends to start with. And we both actually did the training, but Pete was obviously a lot more involved in it. And by the end of the Legends, we were both actually really keen in it. I was still working full time, and we went on to do Champions as well. During Champions, I fell pregnant with our second daughter, and when I actually went on maternity leave to have her was when I really realised that I didn't know who our oldest daughter was, because I was always at work. So that was what really changed both of our mindsets. And I always said if I was going to leave the bank, which I'd been in for over 20 years, that it would have to be for a completely different industry.
Yeah.
So I just fell in love with the digital world and how we could help ourselves, but also once we got into Champions, how we could help other small businesses within the community to really grow their business as well. So that's where our passion came from to start with.
I think a lot of people can relate to your story, like being in that corporate world and just finding that you're at that point where you've had enough and you want to get out and do your own thing. And like you said too to me before, just being in control of your own time so that you can decide. So yeah, actually, well, you were just saying just a minute ago, so fast forward to now, in terms of holidays, so you're not flying around having to go places 3 weeks out of 4 for work. Where have you just been?
So we last year went 2 weeks overseas to Hong Kong and Macau.
Yeah.
Luckily we went then and not now.
Yeah.
And we were able to actually take the 2 weeks off work and let our staff run the business.
Yeah.
And we've just taken 3 weeks off over Christmas, New Year as well, and fully dedicated that to family time as well. So
that's awesome. And that's going to change their lives, your kids' lives as well.
yes, definitely.
Yeah. And so for you guys, so yes, you just made the decision and you got into this digital world. Now, Pete, I know when you first started, you weren't particularly tech savvy. And you've got a big smile on your face there.
Understatement?
So you had a lot to learn. But good on you guys. Something we always admire about you guys is that you just get in and you do it. And if we said, okay, guys, you need to do this in order to move forward, you went, right, on we go, and you just got it done. And so for you guys, one of the things, so obviously we teach a few strategies, and you started out on the portfolio site strategies, buying websites. But in order to get that leverage and get you out of work, Renee, as quickly as possible, you decided to go down the building websites for local business path. So how did that go? So you were telling me just a minute ago about how that has grown for you over the last few years. Can you give us a bit of an idea? So once you got started, once you started applying those skills, what do you think your key to success there was?
Our key to success was identifying what we did well, and then also what we didn't like too much about certain portions of building websites for local businesses. So it was a big learning curve to dealing with that. But then we worked out how we could overcome those challenges as well, but then also free up more time for ourselves. So the first year, we both worked from home.
Yep.
And within about the first year, we thought, well, we can take on like more businesses, but if we're building these websites for them, how are they then being found? So we could do the foundational SEO for them, which we were doing, but then how can we take that to the next level up and actually get reoccurring monthly income? So with the regular ongoing income through the SEO, we thought that could be a better way. When we actually delved into that, we love that even more than building websites.
Yeah, because that's giving you a trail, isn't it? Like that's ongoing, reliable monthly income, and how are you affecting people's lives too? What's the feedback you get when you build these websites and for these businesses?
Yeah, it's amazing actually. It's the satisfaction of helping them grow as well. They're constantly coming back to us and saying how we've increased their turnover, because we are all about return on investment when we're talking to them. But I guess the biggest thing that we take compliment out of it is that when we get referrals from them. So they're referring other business people, their families or their friends. And that's the biggest compliment that we can get, that we know it's actually working.
Yeah,
so,
perfect.
That's great.
And so how do you think Champions helped you actually get there? What was the thing about Champions that helped you achieve what you've achieved?
It gave us the foundation skills, definitely, of building the websites, but the connections that we built within Champions was probably the biggest thing. So technically you can learn these skills anywhere. But the difference between Champions is that you learn the skills, but you build a network of people around you that can actually help you grow. And by doing that, we employed one of our first people that we employed to help us was a champion as well. So mingling with people that have the same mindset was probably our biggest positive, what we got out of Champions.
Yeah.
And from that network of who we've connected with then has just allowed us to keep growing and growing, because the people we met in that network then have another network which we then get into. So I think that has been it was the foundation for us to actually grow to where we are.
Yeah, well, actually, now speaking of growth, Can you give us a bit of an idea of how that growth has happened over the last few years? Because this is the exciting thing about this digital space. The growth in this marketplace is just, the opportunities are just phenomenal. So give us a bit of an idea of how your business has grown over the last few years.
So there's two measures of growth. One is actually how our team has grown, but then secondly, how our turnover has increased as well. So I'll go back to basically 2017 was when we hit the ground running. That was the two of us working with an overseas techie. We then moved into shared office space, and we had part-time champion working with us and still the overseas techie. Then we moved into another permanent office space with some other businesses where we took on, we had 2 champions working for us at that stage. And then through that process, we worked to getting a full-time employee working with us and a part-timer as well, still working with the overseas techie. Then our business was still growing, so we actually got our own business premises, which was only 5 minutes from home, which is great. So we saved ourselves probably an hour and a half of travel every day by moving back to 5 minutes away from where we live.
And where you live, right on the beach.
We head on the Gold Coast, it's amazing. To where we are today, so we've been in the office now here for 18 months. And we've grown to having 2 full-time SEO workers, a full-time developer, designer, techie in our office, a part-time SEO person, and also a contracted content writer.
Fantastic.
Plus the 2 of us.
Yes.
So that's where we've grown from a team point of view. And our goals with 2020 is to also bring on a salesperson, another SEO person to our team, and then also our own outsourcing team in the Philippines. So they're our 2020 goals.
Nice. And that's going to free you up a bit too, Pete.
That's the plan. Yeah, we're working towards trying to free ourselves up. So we're getting there.
Yeah. So most Fridays, so most Fridays Pete doesn't work now, so he works 4 days a week. I still work 5, but it is only Monday to Friday. Full 100% commitment to our family on the weekend.
Fantastic. Well done. So in terms of the growth, like you were talking to me about the monetary.
More exciting is that from February 17 to 18, we had 150% growth. Then in 2019, we had another 350% growth on 2018.
Wow.
And this year, we've had another 300% growth on 2019. So it's been absolutely amazing, and we've definitely hit that exponential curve.
Yes, you're on that. Definitely on that tipping, on that curve up. So fantastic. Well done, guys. And very well deserved. So, of course, now you guys are both full-time digital.
Yes, we
fantastic. Are. That's awesome. And so what's life like now? What's the difference between being in that corporate world and now being in your own business and doing your own thing?
Still has a lot of challenges, but I guess the main thing is just can't put a price on freedom to just be able to choose dates in the calendar and say, well, we're not working then. So as an example, I think the first weekend in May, we're going to Sydney for the weekend to watch a Swans game. So we're just taking the Monday and the Friday off. 2 weekends' time, we're heading up to Double Island Point. So we're just taking the Friday off. We just, it's just great to have that freedom to have got to a point where we know that the guys can run things in our absence.
That's well. And the other thing too, of course, like what you've built is an incredibly valuable asset as well, especially with that ongoing trail. There's been some big digital marketing agency buyouts, so just recently, and there's more and more with higher and higher valuations. So that's very exciting, guys. You've got an incredible asset. So one day when you decide you don't want to do that anymore, you're going to get your nice big payout. So that'll be exciting too. I mean, does that feel different in terms of now you're working for yourselves, not only for the cash flow, but also to build something together?
It's definitely very rewarding, and being able to celebrate the same goals. And there's a lot of challenges, but when you can actually celebrate the same goals and the person actually understands that goal as well, because if you're working in different organisations, you come home and celebrate it and the other person's like, oh yeah, cool. But just getting them involved, but then also we celebrate them at home. We're talking about it all the time about running our own business. So the kids are always involved. How's this going? How's that going? So it's bringing them into the business and opening the opportunity of where they can go in their life as well. So it's not just, you have to go with the ordinary, and how life is changing these days. Who knows what jobs will be available when they're older?
Yeah.
But it just does show that there is the opportunity out there. And we've got a 5-year plan, as you're talking about selling out. So in 5 years' time, that's where we're aiming for. And then after that, it's like what opportunities are available for us. So it's another journey. So it will teach them as well that you don't have to stay on the same path for the whole time either.
And that's fantastic. Yeah, you're a team. And that's something Matt and I love. We love working together, and it's exciting to see you guys working together. And so how has that all worked out? You've managed it. I'm very impressed.
We have managed it. We've got a 2-story office.
One upstairs, one downstairs.
Yep.
So again, after experience, we were both trying to work in the business doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So we now have very separate roles in that I look after all the processing, the staff, the projects, and Pete just brings in all the customers. So we have very defined roles. He works downstairs and we all work upstairs. So it works
I'm only here 2 days a week, so it does work well.
Yes, okay. So, yeah, you don't disturb everyone, Pete.
That's right. No one comes to ask me questions because they know I don't have the answers. It's great.
Yeah, perfect. You've sorted it. That's fantastic, guys. So a big congratulations for that journey. So a final question for you. For someone who's watching this and maybe in the situation you were in a few years ago, what's your advice? What is the first step? What do you need to do to get to where you are?
Get out there and give it a go, without feeling, oh, what are people going to think about me if I fail? And I guess the biggest thing is to give it a go. That's what I
always admire about you guys. That's you took action, and that's what made such a difference for your journey, is that you just kept taking action, and it was amazing.
I remember Matt said to us one day, you've got to stop learning and start earning. And I think that was actually the turning point. He goes, you can learn it all, but unless you actually implement it, it's not going to do anything. And we have tried so many things, and we find the things that work and we go with those. So it's definitely a journey, but the biggest takeout is just to give it a go and give it 120% and celebrate the small successes. Even though you might not achieve the goal, it's like, well, what have I actually achieved to get there? So it may not necessarily be monetary goals or the physical goals, but what have you actually learnt yourself? How have you personally grown? And that's the takeouts I would have.
And here's another one for everyone finally. I actually found something about 6 months ago. I was cleaning up and going through a heap of notes from Legends and Champions some time ago. And I found one slide and I cut it out and I stuck it on the wall, and I mention it to people all the time, and I mentioned it to Matt back at the time. I sent him a message, and you guys put this up, and it's something that sticks with me every day. A year from today, you'll wish you started.
Yeah. Yep. And we say that to ourselves as well. A year from now, we change it to, we'll be grateful you started today. Yeah. Perfect. Well, well done, guys. Absolutely. Congratulations for making this happen. So for getting out there, taking that action, consistent action, and it's really proving and paying itself off now, and you're really on that tipping point of the curve and taking off. So a massive congratulations. Great to speak to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And we'll look forward to having updates soon. See where you end up next year.
Yep, definitely.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah.